It's been a long time to be outside, and we'd like to ask that the public help to get him home safe. His memory has been fading. It's not officially diagnosed as Alzheimer's or dementia, but we've noticed that his memory is slowly decreasing, and as he gets fatigued, it does diminish a little bit. We're very worried, and we need all the help that we can get.
That was Ricky Shea working very hard to try to figure out where his father, Vincent, is. This is a case where it seems like the family is doing everything right, and they still need more help. And that's why we're here today. It's time to turn on the searchlight for Vincent Shea. Hey everyone, John Lorden here. Thank you for joining me on another episode of Brainscratch Searchlight. Before we get into Vincent's case, I just want to let you guys know there will be no Brainscratch this Friday. However, if you want to spend some more time with me, 3 men are getting together over on Gray Hughes's channel. That's going to happen tonight, 7 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Pacific, or 8 p.m. Eastern. So head over to Gray's channel. There should already be a reminder for the live stream that's going on there. We're going to button up some odds and ends about the case that we covered for season 1 of 3 Men and a Mystery. We're going to take some phone calls. We got all kinds of stuff that's going on there. So be sure to check that out. Now let's get into the case of Vincent Shea. This case takes place in North Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. Because of that, we don't have NamUs, but thankfully some people have put together some good posters on this. We're starting with one that is being hosted at Reddit. Missing person, North Vancouver, BC, Vincent Shea. He is an Asian male, 60 years old, stands at 5 foot 7 inches tall. Here they have it noted his weight at 150 pounds. I'm seeing other media that's saying it could be up to 170, so somewhere between 150 and 170. He has black hair, brown eyes. He was last seen on April 2nd, 2019, so we're now coming up on 4 months. We've also got some very serious issues here. It seems like his memory has been failing him recently. We don't have an official diagnosis, but of course that always brings a cause for concern. Last known to be wearing a blue vest, brown shirt, though I've seen some close-ups on the shirt, and it's actually like a check pattern, blue jeans, and green shoes. And here is a photo of Vincent wearing the shoes. As you can see, very bright, very vibrant. I'm hoping that might help in the search or maybe trigger someone's memory. Let's go ahead and jump into the article starting at North Shore News. Vincent Shea has been spotted but still not found, the family is saying, and that's April 5th, 2019. Shea has been spotted several times in Lynn Valley since he went missing on Tuesday, April 2nd, according to Shea's daughter-in-law, Zoe Walker. He lives in what is known as Upper Lynn Valley. So here is Upper Lynn. And there's a couple of points of interest noted here. He's known to frequently walk around trails leading up to Rice Lake. It's also mentioned he might occasionally walk around what's known as Lynn Headwaters. So I've got that park listed here as well. But let's go ahead and get back to the details. A neighbor saw him leaving the house at 10 a.m. on Tuesday. According to the information I've seen from his family, that's pretty normal. He would typically go ahead and walk in the middle of the day like that. But not always to the same place. Sometimes he might go to the Lynn Valley Center or the Lynn Valley Mall. Other times he might go for these walks up around the lake. So a bit of a question in terms of what was his intent on this particular morning. The RCMP detected his phone pinging cell towers in Richmond that day, but his phone has since gone dead. Kind of interesting. Richmond isn't exactly close to, especially where he would be walking. So I'm wondering if his phone might have gotten separated from him at some point. Someone took it to Richmond, something along those lines. We'll get into more details about that as we continue here. He's known to walk in the Lynn Headwaters area, and he frequents Rice Lake. North Shore Rescue has now been tasked in the search as well. I'm not familiar with North Shore Rescue. I think this is the first time I've brought them up in a case, but you can see they are a volunteer rescue organization that has been around for 50 plus years. One of the oldest search and rescue teams in Canada, established in 1965. And throughout the articles I've looked into with this case, they have been called out several times to help this case in several different ways. I always really appreciate organizations like this, so I just wanted to let you guys know about them as well. Over at globalnews.ca, his memory is fading. Family desperately seeks Vincent Shea, missing North Vancouver father. Police have received at least one reliable tip that he may have been seen late Thursday morning on Upper Lynn Valley near Dempsey Road and have asked residents to check their backyards. So this right now is just a walking trail that Google automatically calculated, and you can see going from Upper Lynn heading over to Rice Lake, it also put the walker on Dempsey Road. So we have a potential sighting here around Dempsey Road is what they're saying. This is called Lynn Valley Road right here. So I don't know if the sighting is actually on Dempsey or if it's on Lynn Valley Road close to Dempsey. It's kind of an important piece of information because essentially if he did walk on Dempsey and got to Lynn Valley, if he would make a right, he would be heading to the mall or the center that he hung out at. If he would make a left, that could show that he's actually heading towards the trails. Very important piece of information, but we don't have more detail on that. It's also noting that the RCMP asked residents to check their backyards. And I think we should still put that word out there. From the footage I've seen, this is an area that's pretty gray. It was pretty rainy in April at the time he went missing. It could be that if he got confused that he tried to take shelter in an outbuilding of some kind. So please check your outbuildings in this area in particular. And let me also put the word out there. If you are watching this here in the U.S., just think for me, hey, do I have any friends that live in the Vancouver area? If you do, send this video to them. We need to get more exposure to this case. We need everyone in that area to be thinking about the possibility of where he could be, searching their memories. Do I know where he was? Searching for video, if potentially you have video sources. I know, 4 months out, sometimes they overwrite, but we're just going to put it all out there trying to help this family with this case. North Shore Rescue and police have scoured the neighborhood, trails, and public places since then, but have found no sign of the 60-year-old. On Thursday, Shea's son Ricky said he's especially concerned because of his father's mental health. His memory is fading. It's coming in and out. He doesn't usually wander off like this without contacting us. Ricky said his father often frequents the Lynn Valley Mall, but staff there haven't seen him. Recently, he's been doing a lot of chatting with locals and made himself a little more known in the community, Ricky said. And apparently he does speak decent English, is how Ricky put it. This could be a good thing because it could be that if he's starting to be a little more open, a little more social, that if he needed help, he might be able to ask for it. But depending on his state, if he truly is losing his memory or hitting moments of confusion, who knows if he would reach out to someone like that. And I think at this point, looking at it, 4 months ahead of the actual disappearance, if he was going to reach out for help, I think someone would have got him back to his family, and we haven't seen that happen yet. So, of course, a lot of concern in this case. This is unusual for him, said Sergeant Peter DeVries. He is familiar with the Lynn Valley area. He is familiar with the trails. He often walks around Rice Lake. But so far, efforts to find him on the trails and around Rice Lake have been unsuccessful. Moving on to nsnews.com. Shea routinely goes for walks in the mornings. He frequents Lynn Valley Center, Lynn Headwaters Regional Park, particularly the Rice Lake Trail, and he occasionally goes to the Lower Seymour Conservation Reserve. So once again, these are all areas kind of located around the Rice Lake Trail. We can see the Seymour Valley Trail right here. Lynn Headwaters Regional Park is a bit further north, but you get the idea. And then there is like a main line that goes out here. If he hit that road, possibly. Who knows how far he could have walked up from there. And keep in mind, this map isn't showing you all the trails that are available to this area. So there's a lot of possibilities when we're looking at something like this. A small army of volunteers organized by Shay's family have been out canvassing the neighborhood. Shay is friendly and speaks decent English, Ricky said. And once again, they've got a shot of his footwear. Let's take a quick look at the Facebook page. This is from Bring Home Vincent Shay, which I'll have a link to that Facebook page in the description box below. But you can see the family's really focusing on this kind of triangle that they've identified here in particular. And once again, you get a little better sense here than the Google map I was using, where there's trails that you could see cutting through all this. It's very green. There's a lot of coverage out here. And of course, the shoes that we're looking for are green, so that might not be so helpful, except that they're kind of unnatural, kind of fluorescent green. But a lot of possibility out here, and I can see why the family's certainly focusing on this area. They've got a couple of other points of information that we're going to learn here that really zeroes in there. On April 12th, 2019, we have this article published. More than 9 days since he was last seen. North Vancouver RCMP says there is still no sign of Vincent Shay's whereabouts. On Wednesday, members of the North Shore Rescue deployed a drone to portions of the Lynn Creek area, not easily accessed on foot, in hopes of spotting him. No sign of Mr. Shay was found. We're still holding hope he'll be found. The message from the RCMP posted to social media on Thursday read. So once again, we have that organization trying different search tactics. Unfortunately, they're not finding him. April 18th, 2019, another article from North Shore News. We were able to retrieve an individual security camera footage which showed that Vincent was traveling eastbound on Coleman Street, said Ricky Shay, Vincent's son. It would be nice to have a little bit more to see if he went towards Rice Lake or if he went down towards Lynn Valley Mall. That way it gives us an idea as to where to continue our search efforts. So eastbound on Coleman Street, if we go back to the map here, that it's interesting because that kind of dings, it doesn't completely remove, but it dings the possibility of this sighting on Dempsey, because they're saying that he was walking up here on Coleman. So somewhere up here, although there's a few different streets he could have taken to drop down to Dempsey. Just another consideration here, but I'm thankful that they were able to get some footage, and they actually do have a screenshot from that footage that we could take a look at together. Ricky stressed how grateful the Shay family has been for the outpouring of support from the public. The number of volunteers that have helped out with the search efforts has been really nice to see. It's been really helping us get through it all and keep faith that he will be found. So this timestamp is showing that 11:25 he was walking by here. I don't know what his home address is, so I don't know if that makes sense in terms of the timing that he would usually be walking by here. And there's something else that kind of bothers me about this picture a little bit. I've zoomed it in. I've gone all kinds of different ways. I can't see green on his shoes here. Now, admittedly, a lot of the color is being washed out, I think, from the direct sunlight that's hitting the street there. But you can see this is definitely a color camera. It's picking up green on the far side of the street and some of the red from the shrubbery. I'm just really surprised that I'm not seeing a pop of green or even what would probably look a little bit like yellow on his shoes here. So it's just got me wondering about the possibility, do we have the right shoes? I would think the family has probably gone through his belongings at home and figured out those shoes are missing, and that's part of why they know that those shoes are on him. And they might have even seen the actual footage here. We're just looking at a screenshot, and it could be that the full video shows the actual color a bit better than this screenshot does. But it's just one of the things that jumps out to me about this photo in particular. May 3rd, 2019. In an update to the Bring Home Vincent Shay page, the family said they are narrowing down the direction of where Vincent traveled. They're confident that he did not board a bus in Lynn Valley based on security footage obtained. The Lower Seymour Conservation Reserve, Rice Lake, Seymour Valley Trailway area is still our best theory. We'll be focusing our energy towards that direction in the coming days, they said. With the amount of traffic on the main trails, it is unlikely Vincent will be on the trail itself. The The family has received surveillance video of Vincent walking south on Underwood Avenue. So now we get another piece of the puzzle. If we go back to the map, actually it already put the walking path on Underwood when I pulled it up from Dempsey up to Coleman. But they can basically confirm that they saw him somewhere about halfway down on Underwood, and he was heading south. As a matter of fact, they have a photo. I believe this is a photo from there. Now, one other interesting thing about this photo is I've seen other photos of him out in the wilderness, and in one in particular, here it is, he has walking sticks. And I've seen other notes that mentioned that he will use walking sticks typically when he's hiking. What's interesting to me is this photo isn't showing the walking sticks, so I'm wondering if he wasn't going for a hike. Unfortunately, with where they caught him on this camera, you can't really tell because he's coming down Underwood. I would assume he's going to make a left on Dempsey, and then he's going to get to Lynn Valley Road. And once again, if he goes left, he's heading for the trails. If he goes right, he's heading for the mall, and we don't have another sighting of him after this. So it kind of highlights the importance of that first sighting we talked about that said they saw him around Dempsey. Was it on Lynn Valley Road, and what side of the street was it on in particular, or which direction was he walking on actually is more important. We just don't have the detail. So I'm just curious about that, and I wonder if the family might have more details on that. Honestly, let me just put out there, Ricky, if there's any information that you can help us with that you think it would be helpful to get out there, please feel free to reach out to me. You can email me at john@lordandarts.com. We certainly want to help in any way that we can in terms of finding your father or figuring this all out in some way for you guys. So yeah, a lot of questions here, and it's interesting. I'm telling you, it's one of the things that drives me crazy about this case. The family is doing everything right, and you can tell because their information is getting tighter and tighter. They're really able to track him down pretty well. We're just missing another piece or two that might actually lead them to the final answers here. Over at Daily Hive, concern grows. This is an article from May 4th, 2019. Shay's daughter-in-law, Zoe Walker, reached out to Daily Hive with additional information. Shay has lived in Lynn Valley with his wife for nearly 30 years. On the evening of April 2nd, Shay's cell phone was pinged in Richmond. RCMP and Shay's friends and family searched the area, but were unable to find anything. So this whole Richmond theory, and it's weird because I can't say it's a theory, it's a ping. Somehow his phone must have gotten down there unless the information is being misreported in some way, which I don't know why it would be for a case like this, but it's possible. But let's take a look. Richmond is actually south of Vancouver, and just between Upper Lynn to get to Vancouver even, you've got to cross this major channel known as Vancouver Harbor, and there's only 2 bridges to do so. I believe there's also ferries that run across here, but public transportation, they've checked the cameras, they can't find him. I would assume that someone has checked cameras on the ferry, especially if they got a ping of his phone in the Richmond area. We're not hearing that they spotted him on any of those cameras either. So what's up with his phone pinging down here? I don't know. Could he have been taken down there, or could he have been separated from his phone and his phone taken down there? I think that is a possibility, but I don't know. This whole thing about the Richmond ping is a really tough thing to understand with this case. Back to the article. It is unlikely that Vincent would travel to Richmond by himself. Vincent does not have access to a car, and he does not have a bus pass, said Walker. So you can tell the family's even having trouble coming to grips with why that ping is happening in Richmond. And one of the later updates we get is actually from the family's Facebook page. This is from May 12th, posted by Zoe, his daughter-in-law. Today is Vincent's 61st birthday. This photo is from his 60th birthday party we hosted. Vincent, I wish you were here to pour my tea and laugh at me when I order the wrong thing at dim sum. LOL. So unfortunately, Vincent was not with his family for his 61st birthday. So we know Vincent didn't have a formal diagnosis of Alzheimer's or dementia, but just to give us a little idea of what he could have been contending with, here is a clip of a man who does.
There's 2 degrees. One is where I've been around town. I'm going somewhere, and wherever I'm trying to get to isn't where I think it is, and I have to ask directions, and I'm confused. And then there's another degree of getting lost where the most lost I've ever been is in the hallway of the apartment where I live.
So we have another very significant factor going on here. There is no silver alert in place in this area. As a matter of fact, from what I can see, it seems like there are only certain cities that are doing kind of a test version of a silver alert at this time. So let's look at an article and learn a little bit more about this challenge. This is from September 18th, 2018 over at bcctvnews.ca. Should BC have a silver alert system for missing seniors? And this ties into another missing persons case. That's the man you see on screen right now, Mr. Shin No. And because of his case, essentially, someone's trying to make a difference with this. On the anniversary of the disappearance of Shin No, his son Sam is again calling for a program that would notify media and the public when a senior with Alzheimer's or dementia wanders off. A website set up by Sam No and other volunteers collects donations and raises awareness. They've also essentially got a community-based version of a silver alert system running at this point. For now, alerts are only sent out for those missing in BC's lower mainland, but the organizers intend to expand to the rest of the province in the future. The BC Silver Alert system is based on software that scans feeds of local police forces for specific keywords. The software will flag the content and a volunteer will review it, post it online, and send out an alert. No said early notification can be crucial, as typically missing Alzheimer's patients are found by members of the public. With a official Silver Alert program, we can utilize better technology to quickly spread that word. Highway billboard signs, media. With the City of Vancouver, you can sign up for alerts to receive notification about garbage day pickup. So we have this technology. I would like for us to utilize it. And I think he's making a lot of sense. Of course, we do have Silver Alert here in the U.S. I do see cases regularly where that comes into play, and there are sometimes very good outcomes. Could that have helped in this case in particular? We don't have an official diagnosis on Vincent, but if law enforcement was aware of him having those types of trouble, I think they would hopefully likely have pushed that through a Silver Alert process. And I really think that Sam is raising an interesting point here. If you can sign up for a system to let you know about garbage day, that's essentially a regional notification system. What would it take to update that for being some type of Silver Alert notification system as well? I don't know. I did look into the BC Silver Alert website a little bit more. Honestly, I wanted to make a donation to them, but they only had it through a GoFundMe, and the GoFundMe has been closed, so I wasn't able to do that. What I did do instead, I was originally going to make a donation to both, but I couldn't, so now I've made a donation to North Shore Rescue. I'll have a link to them down below, but on behalf of my amazing PayPal and Patreon supporters, we've already made a donation to North Shore Rescue, and we did it in honor of Vincent Shea. And I also added another note specifically to them to thank them for helping the Shea family with everything that they have done so far. And once again, in the description box down below, you will find the Facebook page for Bring Home Vincent Shea. Something that we typically see with families that are going through this is happening with this Facebook page. They've put out all the information they can about their case, and now they're starting to look at other cases that are similar and help promote those cases. And once again, just in kind of a heartbreaking way, I'm seeing some of those cases that they're helping publicize get solved, but this page is still sitting there with no resolution for Vincent Shea. Is there something you can do to possibly change that? Please, please, please share this video with your friends in the Vancouver area. Let's keep this exposure raised. Let's find that person that has that other little piece of information. We could be looking in the wrong way. I don't think we are. I think there's a strong possibility of the woods being at play here, because the other direction, heading towards the mall, there's a lot more population. There's a lot of people that he effectively should have run into, and they went and checked the mall. He wasn't at his spots. They spoke to people there. They didn't see him. So I do think the family is on point with where they are focusing their search, but they need help with that too. So follow the Bring Home Vincent Shea page and keep an eye for updates. Once again, let me just say they've done everything right here. They just need that extra little piece of help, and I hope that you might be the person that has that. Contact information is in the description box below. That's it. Please remember, no Brainscratch on Friday, but if you want to hang out with me a little more, head over to Gray Hughes's channel and join the live stream tonight. Bring your questions about season 1 of 3 Men. We'll try to get to as many of those as we can. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful week and weekend. I'll see you back here on Monday with a brand new episode of Case Cracked on the Lord and Arts channel.